Hello, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Anahita TV. I'm so glad you made it in, and let's get to it. Today I'm going to talk about a very unpopular subject, and the subject is pain and how we deal with pain. So there's several ways that we deal with pain that causes personality disorders, unfortunately, or we put on boundaries and blockages, and we create personas and personalities that makes it really hard for others to penetrate, even families and loved ones that really care for us, to penetrate and to become to create intimacy and heal for the other person who's carrying the pain. So one of the things I talk about 5 different ways that we manifest this in our bodies and what it does in terms of our personality. So I'll tell you a little bit of my background. The reason I researched this, I have a psychology background, and I have worked with children, specifically of autistic backgrounds, and also behavioral learning disability, that type of thing. So I do have some experience when it comes to psychology. Let's get to it. So the reason I picked this topic is because myself, I've had chronic pain since I was a very young person, since I was 9 years. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to pain, which is unfortunate. One of the ways that I was able to heal my chronic body pain was through exercise. So when I exercise, I feel amazing. So I'm always active, moving, yoga, meditation, running, jumping, anything, you name it. I was the tomboy in our neighborhood, and I often had very ripped jeans or on my knees because I fell and I tripped a lot, and because it felt good. It felt good to run. It felt good to. It felt amazing just to be active. So I maybe that's my that's my little superpower of staying active. I'm kind of known for that in my family. So let's talk about the 5 different ways we carry pain. So number 1, which is I put the most dangerous, is that we push our pain under the rug. Like, we push it away. We don't want to deal with it. The reason this is dangerous is that, the situation could have been very small if you dealt with it, but what we did was we didn't deal with it, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, kind of like a balloon that grows bigger and bigger, and then one little pin can make it blow up. So that's how we manifest different illnesses, unfortunately, or we become angry. Like, a lot of people do the anger management. That's one of the reasons. When you don't deal with issues, we become an angry person, and the smallest thing can irritate you. So we want to avoid that. So we're going to look into 5 different types of ways that we manage pain, unhealthily manage pain. So, and I will give you the resolution. So stay tuned till the end, so you know the resolution. Each one will have a resolution. So each one that I explain, I will also give you a resolution. So I will not leave you in the dark, friends. So comment below. I would love to hear from you if you've had pain, chronic pain, for a long time, and what do you do to heal it, because I feel like our viewers would love to know. All right, so the first one would be the avoidant personality, avoiding pain until you really have to deal with it and it becomes really large. And so the way this manifests, sometimes it gets so big that it manifests itself as into addiction behavior, like addiction to alcohol, shopping, you name it. We all have different types of addictions in this world. Obviously, consumerism is one of the biggest one right now. And then good thing about the pandemic was that I saw in my neighborhood, everybody was getting rid of all their trash. They had more time. They weren't going out as much, so they were cleaning under the bed, in the closets, and getting rid of stuff. So that was a great way to kind of release pain, because sometimes when we accumulate things, also in our, I'm talking about the mind, but even things in the house, like too many items, can also make you feel too grounded and unable to move or improve your life. So the resolution to this one would be trauma healing. I would recommend getting into some shadow work and dealing and feeling those painful situations and staying neutral and allowing them to go in. It's not as easy said and done. Easy as I say, but I believe there's a resolution for each and every one of you. And if you need help, comment below and I will recommend some of the helpful things you can do. I myself do Reiki healing, and through energy distant healing as well as talk therapy, I can definitely coach you into getting your health back and dealing with pain. So number two is actually very popular. I'm sure you all know more than a handful of people who blame others. They blame others for everything that happens to their life. This is another avoidance situation where the person does not want to deal with their pain, so it's easier to blame it on someone else. When we don't take responsibility, then our persona, the persona we have created for ourselves, feels safe to act. But what that does is limits that person's ability to succeed. When you blame others, you push people away, you push wonderful people who could actually help you succeed in your life. And unfortunately, this happens a lot with men. And so we have a lot of men who are not married and who think they're happy, but they're very desperately alone. And it's unfortunate. I know a few people like this. And, when I ask about this family member, they say, oh no, that's a horrible person. I don't want to interact with them. Oh, what happened to that friend? Remember you were hanging out for the past year? Oh, he was this and that. I don't really want to talk to him anymore. So there's always an excuse. And this is because the person they were friends with mentioned to them about something that was lacking or something that they were avoiding. And for them not wanting to deal with the situation, they decided to ask that friend instead, or ask that family member instead, and not connect with them anymore. So a lot of and another thing about this group is often if they don't deal with their issue, they become narcissistic. And there was a Harvard study that said men who had issues with their mothers, they did a 100-year study following 100 men for 100 years, and noticed that across all groups, regardless of race or cultural background or country of origin, men who felt abandoned by their mother from age 0 to 5 had become very narcissistic, and they go into a deep depression after age 40, and it's very difficult to bring them out. Or they were saying there was no cure. I would like to say there is a cure. The reason medical science says there's no cure is because they were dealing with it in terms of pills and talk therapy, but there are so many new things right now. There's shadow work, there is energy healing. I myself practice energy healing, and I'm here to guide you if you were to need that. If not, I do know another friend who is a trauma healer. She is someone I went to for past trauma, and it really helped me. And what she did is she had me relive that traumatic event and replace it with a better memory, and telling me that I was way better now that I lived through that traumatic event, and I'm healthy and I'm happy and I'm here, and all the things that I'm grateful for. So it was really wonderful. I mean, I do recommend trauma healing wherever you're at. If you're not in the United States, you could do this through Zoom, or you can just get help in your local community. Number 3. Let's move to my notes. Another way we carry pain is through chronic illness. A lot of people, unfortunately, a way they don't want to deal with their success, a lot of people is to avoid success. I find it that they become ill all the time, and it's a subconscious, I'm not saying all people who get sick are like that. It's a subconscious, on a subconscious level, they decide, oh, if I am sick, then I don't have to do this and that. If I'm sick, then I can stay in bed all day. It's easier, than dealing with people who hurt me or have the opportunity to hurt me. So this person decides, a lot of the people like this are OCD, or they're extremely clean, and a lot of times it prevents them from having people over. One of the reasons their OCD is not about cleanliness, it's about avoiding people having to come over. It's a psychological disorder versus not liking germs, you know. So this is another one that is great topic. If you do find yourself always sick, contact a local therapist. I'm not into the pills that the doctors recommend. I know it helps some people. What I am into is natural healing, finding a way to deal with your issue naturally, and contacting your doctor. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to prescribe. I'm not a medical doctor. I practice psychology, but I do not practice medicine. So that is a subject for your medical doctor. However, if you were to take a chance, start with the natural process. A lot of things in nature do help. I believe vitamin B3 has helped people with schizophrenia for many, many years. There's other ways too. There's trauma healing again. And for the purpose of this, you can also do meditation of imagining yourself being healed. One of the ways I do it is that I sit and I imagine a big white light going through the crown chakra, coming all the way down to my midpoint chakra, and then throat chakra, heart chakra, going all the way down and to the base chakra, and clearing everything, and then continuously doing this, grounding yourself continuously over and over. If you have a traumatic event, you want to practice this for months, probably 90 days at least, until it becomes second nature. You wake up and you can just do this in a couple seconds, in about 10-15 seconds. You can ground yourself, and it is all you know, over time. It was over time that the pain manifested itself in your body, where you felt that, your subconscious felt that, all right, I need to create this illness so I don't have to deal with this and that. So it does take a little bit of time to deal with this as well. Another thing is diet and exercise. I feel like a lot of our pains gets lodged into our cartilage and into our different parts of the body. The weakest parts, kind of, water has memory, and those memories gets lodged in. That's why dieting is painful. It has nothing to do with being hungry. It's painful because you and we will re-experience the pain that was stored in certain parts of the body. This is my own theory. It is not medical. It's my own theory based on experience, based on me gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, also having a lot of pain. I was born with, I feel like I was born with pain, but I believe the onset of my pain was at age 9. I had lower back pain. And then after that, by the time I moved to Los Angeles about 20 years ago, I started getting shoulder and neck pain and feeling like the whole world is on top of my shoulders. So I've used exercise, yoga, meditation to heal myself and reduce the pain over time. So I do recommend yoga and meditation, all sorts of different. And if my viewers, if you have dealt with chronic pain and you have a solution, please comment below. I would love to hear from you. All right, let's move on to number 4, avoid relationships. We talk about manifestation of OCD. This other person avoids relationship. This is the person that likes to control people because they have a hard time controlling their emotions. They are the type that are usually overbearing. I've had quite a few people in my life who were like that, who thought they could control me, and when they couldn't, they didn't want to be my friend. So be careful of those types of friendships. This is another narcissistic type of friendship. People of this nature are usually alone or loners, or often say how, like, I know this woman who always, I don't like women. They're horrible. Women are horrible. And I only make friends with men, excuse me. I only make friends with men because they're not jealous and catty. All women are catty and jealous. I mean, there are a group of women who may be catty and jealous, but I don't believe all women are group, can be categorized in that, in that specific way. So, you'll hear it in their language. So if this is you, if you see yourself, if you are watching and you blame everybody and you avoid relationships and you think everybody is horrible except you, what you're doing is actually manifesting that into your life. Whatever you seek, you talk about, it seeks you. We are a magnet. We attract what we think about. So the way to heal this is the opposite of what you think. Start thinking that people are lovely and I'm so lucky to have friends. Have a gratitude journal. Start looking at the world in a positive way of seeing other women. If you are a woman who thinks all women are horrible, start seeing amazing women as they are, and like your mom or aunt, or not everybody. I'm not saying not every woman is healthy and needs to be in your life. If they are people like that, I definitely don't blame you if you are avoidant of someone who's hurting you. However, if you think 100% of women or 99.9% of others are hurtful, or in the case of relationship for women, I know a lot of women who have had bad relationships in the past. So they say this is for heterosexual relationships. So they say all men are horrible. There are no good men out there. That type of situation. This is another way we avoid relationships. So find out which one it is, and if you are lonely, seek help. Seek again a therapist. I'm not here to blame anyone or to make you feel shamed, but I do want to help you connect with your intuition. That's my duty, and I'd love to help you gain your intuition so that you can see the beauty in people again. You can seek the beauty in yourself. Once you seek the beauty in yourself, and as a magnet, you will attract the same type of people in your life, who are loving, lovely, and would love to be in a beautiful friendship with you. Whether it's a physical loving relationship, or whether it's a friendship, a woman with a woman, or another man with a man, as a friend. I'm at this point, I'm talking only with the heterosexual, but it doesn't matter. Whatever your gender preferences are, it applies. So be careful of isolating yourself and avoiding relationships. So let's see. So this is the type of person that thinks everyone is out there to get them. So you want to avoid that kind of mental attitude and do the opposite. So the resolution would be opposite of that all amazing people walk into my life. People are wonderful, and I usually have amazing friends. So number 5, last but not least, people who are too open. What do I mean by that? These are people who were really hurt in the past. They pretend they don't care. They pretend nothing matters. However, they are the most emotional, the most sensitive people. What they do, like I know a friend who says, I'm open. When I'm open, wide open, my arms are open, that means I attract everything, which means good or bad, I am open to it. I attract everything. And what I've noticed, I've had a few friends like this. They're actually very financially successful because they are open. They take a lot of chances. And the opposite side is when they do fall, they fall really low, which means they allows a lot of, is too open and is open to people who are out there to get you, who are out there to take advantage. And they see the telltale signs, but they still go forward and move forward and allow that person in their lives intimately, and that person knows. And then so it becomes a circle of hell of, letting this person in, letting them take advantage of you, giving them all your personal details, and then this person takes advantage of you. Then you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that this person did this to me again. And so they attract that type of, even when they avoid that person and they're no longer friends with this person, they invite another type, the same type, but a new person that walks into their life and takes them for granted, steals money, or takes over their home and makes them really uncomfortable, and then they have to deal with getting rid of them from their lives, and then that person turns into a cancer in their lives, taking and taking and taking until this person really hits rock bottom. A lot of these type of people are also have addiction issues. One of the ones I've noticed were mostly alcohol and drugs, because they want to numb their emotions, and it's because they're highly sensitive and they don't want to feel, so they end up numbing their emotions with substances for a temporary fix, because it's so overwhelming. All the issues are so overwhelming that they end up unfortunately, it's kind of like number 3, they to avoid the ones that have a lot of pain, so that they don't have to let anyone in, or are always sick so that they don't let anyone in. This type of person has someone who take advantage of them, and I'm sad, and it is wrong to take advantage of people. Of course, that other person is to blame, but it is their ability to have 0 boundaries and let people in. That's why you end up getting taken for granted. And for this type of person, again, I'd recommend shadow work. I recommend Reiki energy healing, as well as help with boundaries, help with figuring out how to create some boundaries so that the same things don't happen to you over and over again. So healthy boundaries. For a while, I was like that. I was just too nice to people because I was shy to say no. And people would take advantage of me, and financially, I was taken advantage of, and I was really young. I worked hard. I had a lot of money in my pocket. And so some of the people who knew I was a nice person, and they'd ask for money and I would give it. So I ended up not, believing anyone anymore. So I stopped loaning money out. And one of the things I learned from my dad was, oops, my foot hit the tripod. He would say, the only way you should give money out is if you don't want to see it. So that's how I do it. If I don't want to see the money again, I give it to this person. If they need it, I give it away. But I don't give a huge amount where I know the person cannot give it back. So I don't do that anymore. So I learned that. I took classes actually at college. There was these after school classes. It was nerdy, but it was cute, and they talked about how to create boundaries. And when people were, what are your boundaries? First of all, write down your boundaries. So let's start. So I told you that I would give you the remedy for each one. So with this one, I would write down my boundaries. If this is you, if this speaks to you, if you are too open, write down what are your boundaries are, and write down what are the types of people that you attract into your life that are always taking advantage of you. Name a few of them and see what personality types they have in common. And then at the end, also realize that you are allowing them to come and walk all over you. And so what do you do next? Maybe next time you don't give them your social security number, or the key to your home. That's a boundary. Someone says, hey, can I stay with you? And you're like, sorry, no, and you don't know this person very well, and they want to come over and stay with you, and you only have a 2-bedroom house with you and your kid. And that actually happened to me. I had someone who asked to stay with me, and my space is pretty limited, and I didn't feel comfortable. And so I said no. And this person didn't talk to me for over a year, and I was okay with that. I said, I'm not obligated to have you live in my house. And in California, the thing is, if you invite someone into your house, there's a law, I think, back in the 70s, or, all these free love type people, the hippies created this law that when you invite someone to your house, and they could stay forever. If they don't have a place to go, they could stay, which is really messed up. They could stay. Even if they are not welcome in your house, they can stay, which is ridiculous. And that's an actual law. You can't kick them out. It's a long process. It takes up to 6 months, 3 to 6 months. You have to go to court to get rid of them. This actually happens to a cousin of mine when she moved to Los Angeles. She and her husband had friends staying who would not leave, and they had a gorgeous house in the hills, and it was really ugly. They had to go to court, and it was a nightmare. They had a horrible time getting rid of them. So That's another boundary. You don't have to let people in. So based on an experience that happened to another friend, I learned from it. And I said, sorry, you can't move into my house. Because when I asked how long, I'm not a heartless person. I said, how long would you be staying? Is it for the weekend? That's fine. You want to sleep on my couch for the weekend? That's cool. But he was like, no. And I said, longer. And I said, how long? And then he said, well, it's going to be a couple months. Oh, I was like, whoa, couple of months. I don't think so. So that's how it went down. Anyway, so there, so we're getting off tangent. I wanted to say thank you for joining me and for this talk. I hope that you learned something. And if you have any questions about boundaries, if you have any questions about energy healing and how it works, I am happy to help you. I will leave my email below and you can contact me. Have a blessed day. I wish that all of your pain go away. And I love to pray for you. I love to just send you love, light, and energy and continuous blessings in your life from the divine, from spirit. Believe in yourself. Believe in your guides. Pray and ask for guidance. You are not alone. We are all together. And you deserve to be loved. You deserve to be happy.